I thought that my mother was the most miserable person in the world. One of the reasons was because she had to do tons of work, far more than my father. As a young child, I would compare how much work each of them did and concluded that my mother was the victim who had to carry the heavier burden. However, when I really think about it now, I don't remember my mother ever complaining about the work she has to do each day. The biggest source of her pain was her husband's behavior. What he did was lose money playing hot. Being a farmer in Korea, especially back in the 1960s and 70s, my father was busy from spring through fall, but he had no work in the winter. While my mother continued to take care of the children and cook all the time, he would go to a bar. It wasn't a bar like the ones we imagine today. It was a regular house with a rice straw roof, like many others at that time. It was located about 15 minutes away from our village, near the main road. There, some village men would gather, drink rice wine called makgeolli, and play hatu, betting money. I remember one winter night when my mom put me on her back and walked to that bar. She could have gone by herself, but maybe she didn't trust my older siblings to watch me safely, or she just needed another human being with her. As she walked furiously, she muttered to herself, "This time, I will not let it slide." Even though the night was dark, the large amount of snow reflected the night sky, allowing my mom to see the path. I think I was 4 or 5 years old, but I still understood my mother's heart. At the very least, I knew she was very angry and couldn't stand my father being at that bar any longer. Later, I came to understand the bigger picture. She couldn't wait any longer for her husband to stop his foolish behavior, especially betting and losing money. If you play any kind of game to get money quickly, you can't stop after 1 or 2 tries. If you win once, you play again to get more. If you lose, you play again to win back what you lost, believing you can recover it. But in the end, everyone loses their money and ruins their lives. My mother stood in front of the bar house and shouted, "Come out right now!" Me, still being on her back, I felt my mother's strength as she shouted. After she shouted, my father didn't say anything. He was completely silent. The door was still closed. When I think about it now, he didn't want to show his emotions in front of the other village men due to his pride. My mother and I came back home. I was scared to death, thinking about what would happen when my father came home. He came home a little later and dragged my mother into a room and started beating her with a long stick. My siblings and I trembled in the other room, listening to our mother's screams. I wished my father was dead. I thought that without him, our family would be much happier. This is another thought I carried for many years. I wish my dad was dead.